Good evening, everyone, from Purvis. It's time for District 7 4A high school baseball action as the Sumrall Bobcats take on the Purvis Tornadoes. I'm Kelly Sander along with producer-engineer Jeremy Thompson as we get ready to settle in here for the second game and the final game of this series. I think I said earlier this week that each team would have it'd be a three-game series, but that's just at the 6A level. At the 4A level, it's just a two-game series. So Purvis serving as the home team. Incidentally, the visiting team in this series has won the last 4 games in a row, including, of course, the game earlier this week at Sumrall where Purvis won 3-0 in extra innings. So Sumrall will bat first. Let's take a look at the Bobcat lineup, which Larry Knight has juggled some things around as far as the batting order goes. Dennis Jackson leads off tonight, playing center field. He'll be followed by the pitcher, Hunter Barrett. Garrett Robbins bats in the 3-hole. He's playing right field. Billy Garrity in the cleanup spot. He's playing third base tonight. Mason Story, the first baseman, bats fifth. He'll be followed by Graham Crawford, the catcher. Zane Berry at second base, batting seventh for the Bobcats. And the Sumrall batting order complete with Cross Sibley in left field and Tanner Morgan at shortstop. So again, for Sumrall, it's Jackson, Barrett, Robbins, Garrity, Story, Crawford, Berry, Sibley, and Morgan. We'll give you the Purvis batting order in the bottom of the first inning. We can tell you that Dakota Lee, who got the win in relief on Tuesday night in Sumrall, gets the start tonight. They'll be throwing to Parker Scharf, that same battery that finished the game on Tuesday as Purvis goes for the regular season sweep. Both of these teams are 2-1 in district play. Purvis 10-2 on the season. Sumrall 11-3 as the Bobcats will head to Greene County on Tuesday night after a non-district contest with Old Brook tomorrow against the Brookhaven Panthers. So ready to settle in here. The Bobcats in their black jerseys with blue and yellow trim with the gray pants, and Dennis Jackson, the all-everything wide receiver for the Bobcat football team and the center fielder for this baseball team, will lead it off. The lights are on here tonight in Sumrall. 325 down each line, 333 to dead center, but you're going to have to hit it farther than 333 as they've got the monster out there in center field. And Nate Lott in center field out there patrolling for the Tornadoes. So righty versus righty, the matchup as Dakota Lee gets ready to go to work, and Dennis Jackson now finding himself in the leadoff spot where he had been batting down in the 7 or 8 range earlier in the season, and he takes a bender for a called strike. Dennis Jackson, who didn't get as early a start on the baseball season as the rest of the team as he was playing basketball for Sumrall. The 0-1, check swing, they'll appeal it, and he did go. So it's strike 2 on Jackson, 0-2. Just underway. A scheduled 6:30 start. The Tornadoes and the Bobcats in the battle of 589 baseball style. 0-2 pitch to the leadoff hitter Jackson. Swung on, there's a grounder to short. Gobbled up, throws over to first base, and as quickly as Dennis Jackson gets down the line, it's no problem for Johnson at short to make the play. Jackson is out on the 6-3, and that'll bring up Hunter Barrett. Barrett on the mound tonight for Sumrall, but Larry Knight has some other options. Cody Davis could go if he needed to. Grant Reddy is ready if called upon. The wind blowing in from left field, so it will take a Herculean effort to hit it out of here tonight with that wind blowing as strongly as it is in. This is swung on and popped up to the right side. Looks like it'll get out of play, and does. No sun field really per se the way the sun is going down here. The only sun might be the Sumrall fans that are over here to our left by the Bobcat dugout, but all of the defenders, if anybody's bothered by it right now, it might be the catchers, but it would only be temporary as that sun continues to work its way downward. 0-1 to Hunter Barrett. They play him to pull slightly. First pitch is off the plate. Bernard Schau's the man behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Veteran of the Hattiesburg Umpires Association. Dakota Lee, he also serves as a shortstop for this Purvis team on the hill. There's a bender that drops in there beautifully for a called strike 2. 1-2 to Barrett with Garrett Robbins on deck. Purvis won in extra innings on Tuesday night 3-0 when the Bobcat defense wheels came off. They're in the 8th. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Got a cue ball shot down foul outside of first. So the count stays at 1-2. So again, Sumrall heading to Brookhaven tomorrow for a non-district game. Then they'll be back in district play on Tuesday night when they go to the booming metropolis of Leakesville. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just missed off the plate. 2-2 now.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm so old, I remember when Leakesville had a high school. The Leakesville Bears back in the day. But in the day of consolidation, Leakesville's high school was gobbled up and is now part of Greene County. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Here's a chopper to third and gets underneath the glove of Mason Kendrick. Rounding first on his way to second base is Barrett. So he's there at second base with 1 out. And that is that'll be ruled a hit. A double all the way down into the corner. So Barrett is aboard, and here's Robbins now. Barrett being the pitcher will come out, and a courtesy runner for the Bobcats is Logan Powell. Powell, the senior outfielder, at second base for Barrett. And here's Robbins now. Garrett Robbins' father, of course, is Chris Robbins, the old left-handed stroker for Southern Miss back in the day. So Garrett's a baseball legacy. His dad, Chris, played for Hill Denson at Southern Miss. First pitch coming, swing and a miss, as Robbins had a good cut at it. Here at the Purvis Field, right on Highway 11. Though the series between these two teams is called the Battle of 589 because of where the towns are situated. That's too high. 1-1. As we've documented, Purvis used to be the old Lamar County Agricultural High School back when I was a kid. 1905, somewhere in there. The 1-1 took something off of it and dropped it in there for a strike. So Robbins looking at a 1-2 deficit. Runner at second base, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. No score between Sumrall and Purvis. Lot in center field actually shading Robbins to go the opposite way. Dakota Lee making sure that the base runner in for Hunter Barrett, that Logan Powell stays close. Powell in scoring position, doesn't have to go anywhere. The 1-2 pitch off the plate, that evens it up at 2-2. Raymond McCraney, a 1976 graduate of Sumrall, is watching the webcast tonight in Marrero, south of New Orleans. Glad to have Mr. McGraney, a 76 grad. That'd be the bicentennial year, huh? Swung on and popped out of play. Count stays 2-2 to Garrett Robbins. You can get in on the action, too. Where are you watching the ball game from? Let us know at 601-310-7077. That's our text line, 601-310-7077. Sumrall looking to play to run here in the first inning, something that the Bobcats couldn't do in game 1 of this series. So well pitched. Johnson and Sibley both. So righty versus righty again as Lee comes set and works the 2-2 to Robbins. Swing and a miss. He went up the ladder, and Robbins tried to get it. First strikeout of the night, and it's the second out of the inning for Sumrall. It'll be up to big-time Billy Garrity. Christy Martin checking in. She's watching on her new Samsung Galaxy tablet. I wonder if she gets paid for texting us that. Free plug for Samsung. She says, "Go Bobcats, go." So here's big-time Billy, who committed to Southern Miss earlier this week. Takes a pitch that was off speed and a little bit low. Of course, Billy put it on Twitter and Facebook earlier this week. So, and as I've learned from watching the Jerry Springer show over the years, if it's on Facebook, it's Facebook official, right? The 1-0 pitch. That's off the plate inside, 2-0. As Lee being careful with Garrity, knowing that Garrity, with his 4 homers on the year, and that short porch in right field. And first base is open, so, I mean, you don't want to give him anything too good to hit. 2-0 pitch is a breaking ball off the plate outside, so 3-0 to Garrity with Mason Story on deck. Game Tuesday will be at Leakesville and obviously back at Sumrall next Thursday night, remember. Not the usual Tuesday, Friday, because of Good Friday. Next weekend being Easter weekend. There's a 3-0 pitch right down the tube. So at Leakesville Tuesday, back at Sumrall on Thursday, and then the Bobcats scheduled to play 2 games on Good Friday, one against Mize and one against McGee. 3-1 pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Garrity swings through that one. And the count goes full as Dakota Lee came right at him. Sumrall batting in the top of the first inning. Runner at second and 2 away. Logan Powell will be off on any kind of contact. The payoff pitch coming to Garrity. High and outside, ball 4. So Garrity coaxes a walk out of Dakota Lee. And that'll bring up Mason Story, the first baseman. Story, the second highest batting average on this Sumrall team behind the freshman Sivley. Digs in with some ducks on the pond. Again, the lights are on here, and that wind continues to blow briskly straight in toward home plate. First pitch to Story, a breaking ball that drops in there for strike 1 as Bernard Childs goes up with the right hand. The Major League Baseball season begins a week from today. The big leagues start playing for good. Among the opening games hosted by the Cincinnati Reds, and that pitch is high, the Cincinnati Reds and Detroit Tigers, so that ought to be real nice and toasty up there in Detroit and Cincinnati at the end of March, where they just had more snowstorms go through this week. 1-1 the count to Story. Should he reach, then Graham Crawford would come to bat for Sumrall. The 1-1 pitch out of the stretch, swung on and lifted foul out of play to the right side. So fastball looking, Story got it and just couldn't barrel it up. Steve Cooley down at first base. Larry Knight at third as we got the pullovers on tonight. A little bit cool, especially with that wind going. A kind of a half-hearted swing through that one. And Story goes down on strikes. So the Raw Cats will strand 2 on a double and a walk. And Purvis will come to bat in the bottom of the inning. No score. So let's take a look at the Purvis lineup. Ty Howell will lead it off. He'll be followed by Mason Kendrick. Jesse Johnson will bat third. He's the shortstop and pitched so beautifully on Tuesday night. Then Trenton Flatt, the right fielder. He bats in the cleanup spot, followed by the DH Casey Burge, who is swinging it for Justin Seal, the first baseman. Dakota Lee bats in the 6th hole, batting for himself. Parker Scharf, the catcher, bats 7th. He'll be followed by Colin McQueen at 2nd and Nate Lott in center. So for Purvis, it'll be Howell, Kendrick, Johnson, Flatt, Burge, Lee, Scharf, McQueen, and Lott. 2018 Bobcat Baseball live stream sponsors include Diversified Forestry, South Group Insurance, the largest independently owned insurance agency in the state with 20 offices, including Hattiesburg, Columbia, Collins, and McGee. Dyket's Professional Drugs, where you can download the Dyket's Professional Drugs app and order your drugs ahead of time, your prescriptions ahead of time, and also get advice right on the phone from Dykets and MCS Insulation. One way to curb those ever-increasing electric bills is to make sure you've got proper insulation and enough insulation in your existing home or new construction. Contact MCS Insulation for more information. Fast Eddie Brantley in the press box. You too, Ed. Good to see you too. So the Tornadoes, Ty Howell, who was the quarterback of this Purvis football team, he'll lead it off. Ty Howell, one of the nicest kids you're ever going to meet. Just very unassuming, but a terrific athlete and works really hard. Playing left field for Tony Farlow tonight, as Purvis football coach Perry Wheat announced his retirement today, so there will be a new head coach on the sideline for the Tornadoes this fall. Hunter Barrett looking in at his battery mate Graham Crawford, and we're underway here in the top of the first inning, and that breaking ball is upstairs to Ty Howell as he leads it off here in the bottom of the first inning, no score. So Sumrall now has gone 9 straight innings against the Tornadoes without plating a run. Sumrall has gone in streaks this year as far as hitting goes. But credit some of the Purvis pitching as well. 1-0 pitch is low, ball one. Dennis Jackson shades Ty Howell to right field. Jackson in right. Dennis Jackson in center. Garrett Robbins in right. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's there. 2-1 as Bernard Chow's quickly indicates the strike. All kinds of room down the left field line as Cross Sibley shaded a little bit toward center. 2-1 to the Purvis leadoff hitter. The pitch swung on and popped out of play to the right side. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Purvis left fielder. He'll be followed by Mason Kendrick. Mason Kendrick, a Purvis legacy. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, held off on it. Graham Crawford leans out to keep it in front. And Howell stays alive with a 3-2 count. Scheduled 7-inning game. Barrett's 3-2 pitch swung on, and this one is popped to the left side. And the crowd for Sumrall here begins to scatter a little bit, and that one drops right down into the aluminum bleachers to our left. So the count stays full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Seems like you wait forever for opening day of the baseball season to get here, and once the season's underway, you just a wink of an eye and it's over with. Playoffs begin in late April, and we're almost into the month of April. Barrett gets the sign from Crawford. Here's the payoff pitch again, and Howell backs out. As a batter, you have to be careful because you're not guaranteed to get that timeout. But Bernard Chow's did grant it. Again, the payoff pitch swung on, and this is popped. Right side of the infield in foul territory. Story in front of the Purvis bench puts it away, and Howell is out. So 1 away, and here comes Mason Kendrick now, the third baseman. So that ball stayed in play, even with that wind blowing in toward home plate. Jess Johnson in the on-deck circle. Purvis batting in the bottom of the first, no score. In game 2, in the final game of this series, and now Crawford wants to go out and talk it over with Hunter Barrett. Again, should Larry Knight need to go to the bullpen, Cody Davis is available. Grant ready to throw. So Sumrall, the pitching staff, healthy and ready to roll should Barrett get into any trouble at all. The top of the second, Sumrall will send Crawford, Berry, and Sibley to the plate. There's an off-speed bender that drops in for a strike. The Sumrall defense has Garrity at third, Tanner Watson at short, Zane Berry at second, and Mason Story at first. The outfield left to right is Sibley, Jackson, and Robbins. 1-1 the count to Mason Kendrick. Quickly Barrett back to work, swung on and tapped fair. That ball is fair. Crawford will field it and throws the ball to first base. 2 up and 2 down. I like the way that the Bobcat catcher, Graham Crawford, settled himself, got his feet and shoulders square, knew that he had time to make the throw, and made a perfect strike. And here's Jesse Johnson. Righty versus lefty, the matchup here, and they are pulling the shift over here for Johnson. First pitch, and he lifts it to left. Sibley moving over toward the line, now coming back in to make the catch. It fooled him a little bit, but reached behind his body to make the grab, and that does it for Purvis in the first inning. 3 up and 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We've completed 1 here in Purvis. No score. Termite Control Specialist is a locally owned company that has served the Pine Belt for 55 years. They specialize in termites but offer pest services too. So give them a call. Termite Control Specialist, 261-5200, 261-5200 for a free estimate. So again, Crawford, Berry, and Sibley to the plate here for Sumrall in the top of the second inning. Southern Miss down in Florida this weekend against FAU, I believe. Conference USA action, a big win over, is it South Al earlier this week? Southern of Baton Rouge. So Crawford, a big, strong catcher for Sumrall to the plate. And with the press box windows open, we're getting a little bit of that breeze in here. And as the sun begins to retreat, you can kind of feel those temperatures going down, but it should still be a comfortable night here in Sumrall. Here's Crawford with the gloves hanging out the back of his britches here. First pitch to him. Upstairs for ball 1. Dakota Lee on the hill, the man who also serves as a shortstop for Purvis. 1-0, swung on and tapped foul. And that one hurt. That one caught Parker Scharf. In a place that you don't want to get hit. 1-1 is the count. Sumrall batting in the top of the second inning, the leadoff hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Zane Berry on deck. Berry, the second baseman for Sumrall, has been batting in the leadoff spot all year long. Dennis Jackson taking a little while to warm up as he came from the basketball floor to the baseball field, and now that Jackson seems to have found his groove, Jackson has been elevated to the leadoff spot and Berry to the 7-hole. 1-1 to Crawford. That pitch got away from him. 2-1 now. District 7 4A. You've got 4 teams tied with the exact same record. Sumrall, Purvis, Greene County, and Poplarville. Here's the 2-1. Swung on. Here's a shot down the right field line, but it is foul. The 2 teams that are on the outside looking in at this point are Lawrence County and Forest County.
2 balls, 1 strike.
And no disrespect to either of those schools, I suspect that will probably be the case, just based on returning starters and so on. 4 out of the 6 teams will make postseason play. The 2-2 pitch swung on, and this one is lifted to the left side of the infield. Kendrick is over there on the line, and he gloves it for the first out.
Kendrick makes the catch for out number 1.
So 1 away, and that'll bring up the aforementioned Zane Berry. Zane's older brother, Zach, is a Sumrall graduate. It's a good thing the Bears didn't have any more sons, because Zach and Zane, I don't know what other Z name you'd come up with. Xavier is X, right? Zebediah, that would work. There's a breaking ball strike. Zebulon, which would be the same as Zeus. 0-1 pitch. There's a swung on and a shot into left field. So Berry with a 1-out single. And it was so crisply hit that the Purvis defense really didn't even react, knowing it was a hit all the way. So Berry is aboard, and here comes Cross Sibley now. The freshman who pitched so beautifully on Tuesday night, but neither he nor Johnson figured in the decision. Throw over to first base, and Berry has to dive in. Zane Berry, a defensive back on the football team, too, for Sumrall. He's down there at first. Sibley doesn't do football. He's a baseball guy. First pitch from Dakota Lee is in there for a strike. He's been starting hitters off pretty consistently with benders and dropping them in there nicely. So Sibley looks at Larry Knight for the signals. They may have Berry on the run here. We'll see. Sibley hitting 8th in the order. The shortstop Tanner Morgan is on deck. Throw over to first again. Berry's not afraid to get dirty now. And knowing how well Berry runs, Dakota Lee certainly being wise and keeping him close. The 0-1 pitch, another bender and another strike. So Sibley's going to have to get to work. 0-2 the count to the freshman left fielder. Sibley moved to the area about 5 years ago from Grenada. Maybe throw over to first. His family's a military family. The unique combination of being a left-handed thrower and a right-handed hitter. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Lee gets him on strikes. 2 away. That is the 3rd strikeout of the evening for Dakota Lee, and it'll be up to Tanner Morgan. I would not be surprised here to see the Bobcats put Zane Berry in motion here at some point. Dakota Lee looks into his battery mate, Parker Scharf, for the sign. The right-hander kicks and delivers, and that is on the inner part of the plate for a strike. Justin Seals' dad, Joe, glad to have him watching. He's in Birmingham. I presume that's Alabama. There is a Birmingham in England. Throw over to first base. So glad to have Joe along. And he just got to see his son try to put the tag on the Sumrall runner, Zane Berry, over there. Wind still blowing in. Breaking ball drops in there. Boy, Dakota Lee has been brilliant on those breaking balls. So no balls and 2 strikes to Tanner Morgan. Should he reach, then they'd go back to the top of the order and Dennis Jackson. The 0-2. Got him. Fastball on the outside corner. Tanner Morgan goes down on strikes. So for the 2nd inning in a row, Dakota Lee has struck out 2 in the inning. He's got 4 now overall. No runs on a hit. So we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. No score between Purvis and Sumrall. For Purvis, it'll be Flat, Burge, and Lee. William Carey University. For 100 years, they have been equipping students with the skills they need to succeed professionally and personally. William Carey University, home or around the world. For 100 years, they have been equipping students with the skills they need to succeed professionally and personally. William Carey University, home or around the world. For 100 years, they have been equipping students with the skills they need to succeed professionally and personally. Start with an education. William Carey University, home or around the world. Purvis will send Trenton Flat, Casey Burge, and Dakota Lee to the plate here in the bottom of the second inning, as the Sumrall bats have just been stymied by the Purvis pitching and defense here so far in this series. And don't be surprised if these teams see each other maybe again in the playoffs. We've talked about other teams in the South, including East Central, Van Cleve, Pearl River Central.
Number 3, right fielder, Trenton Flat.
It's too bad Purvis doesn't have an outfielder with the name of Scruggs. You'd have Flat and Scruggs in the outfield. Of course, not many young people would know what I'm talking about. Swung on. Curveball dropped in. Again, it's Story in foul territory. And again, he puts it away. So 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Casey Burge. There was some thought that Burge might pitch tonight for Purvis, and he would certainly be available should he be needed.
18, designated hitter, Casey Burge.
But he's in the DH slot right now. Burge batting in the bottom of the second inning with the bases empty and 1 out. First pitch is a breaking ball away that gets out from underneath the glove of Graham Crawford. Tuesday, Thursday, the district games next week because of Good Friday, but Sumrall will play on Good Friday against Mize and McGee. Then they'll get Saturday, the Easter weekend off, Saturday and Easter Sunday. One-oh pitch coming to Burge. Swung on, and this one is driven to right field. That ball is well hit. That ball is back, and it's into the corner, off the fence. Burge rounds second base. On his way to third, there will be a late throw. Not in time. Burge in with a sliding triple. It looked like Tanner Morgan wanted to throw that ball to third a little bit quicker than he did, but maybe just didn't get it out of the glove cleanly. And by the time he did get a handle on it, the throw was just a little late. And that'll bring up Dakota Lee, who will swing for himself here. So that will bring the infield in. As any ground ball to the infield, should Burge make a break for the plate, the Bobcats will try to gun him out. First pitch. That's high. A blazing fastball in there by Barrett. Missed. 1-0 now to Dakota Lee, hitting 6th in the order for the venerable Tony Farlow. Been at Purvis a long time. They've got their share of state championships here in this part of the county. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball away, misses 2-0 now with Parker Scharf on deck. Scharf, a very strong German last name. Umpires have got their jackets on tonight too as it begins to cool down. The sun begins to clock out for a Friday afternoon. 2-0 pitch with the infield in, nearly hit him. It's inside 3-0 now. Boy, and as a hitter, you know the fastball's coming. You know the coach is giving you the take sign. Sometimes you just want to swing anyway. And if you get a hit, you won't hear from the coach. 3-0 pitch. That's there, 3-1. Well, you won't hear as much, or it won't come to you nearly as loud. But again, the Sumrall infield pulled in. A 1-out triple by Casey Burge has the Tornadoes up to something here in the bottom of the second, and now Lee calls timeout. These teams punched and counter-punched on Tuesday night, was scoreless through 7. Swung on, and here's a little floater out toward right field. Coming in is Robbins, and he can't get there. He gets underneath Robbins' glove. Rounding second on his way to third is Dakota Lee. The throw not in time. And it was, he didn't touch the ball. He did not touch the ball in right field. That's a hit. Robbins thought he was going to get there. So it's back-to-back triples.
Who's that running down our state?
So a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Dakota Lee.
Runner at third base, 1 out. Latter's number 10, the catcher.
So here's Parker Scharf. Robbins was coming in. It looked honestly like it was going to drop in for a base hit the whole way. Then Robbins came in to try to make that catch and just didn't get to it, and then the hop went under the glove. They try the squeeze play. Look out. The Tornadoes in a pickle here, and he is out. So the squeeze play was on, and Sumrall executes the out. So 2 outs now, and base is empty. And Scharf is the Lone Ranger as he goes back to work with a 0-1 count. And here's a little flare off of the end of the bat. Robbins is there this time and hauls that one in for the 3rd out. But the Tornadoes come up with a run on 2 hits. Back-to-back triples. And yeah, if they don't try the squeeze there, Robbins made that catch in shallow right field. I don't know whether he would have tagged or not, but it's done anyway, and the Tornadoes take the lead 1-0 as we go to the top of the 3rd inning here in Purvis tonight. La Torre's Fine Foods of Sumrall is the place to be, especially if you want to treat the family to a great meal on Friday night. They've got the lunchtime specials, too, where you get the salad and the drink along with it. Po' boys, burgers, sandwiches, seafood, steaks, you name it, they've got it. Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 to 9. Saturday and Sunday, from 10:30 to 10. La Torre's open for your dining pleasure. La Torre's Fine Foods, 1143 Highway 42 in Sumrall. So we go to the top of the 3rd inning, and Sumrall will go back to the top of the order with DJ Dennis Jackson, Hunter Barrett, and Garrett Robbins. But Sumrall has struck out 4 times, so 4 of the 6 outs recorded by Purvis have been via the punch-out off of the arm of Dakota Lee. Purvis trying to hold serve here at home, something that the teams have not done. The last 4 games in this series have been won by the road team. It's not like it's that far away as far as road trips go, but still it's kind of interesting that the home teams have not been able to defend their turf in the last 4 efforts. Jackson grounded out to short his first time up. Johnson made a great play to zing it across the infield and beat him by a step and a half. First pitch to Jackson is a breaking ball that just misses off the plate. Now the wind blowing more toward right field now. There's a bender that misses 2-0. Dennis Jackson, who has football offers from every school in the SEC except Alabama. That one's inside.
3 balls, no strikes.
And the Bobcats looking for a base runner here, and the Tornadoes certainly don't want to give Jackson a free base. He's facing a 3-0 count and takes the strike down the middle, 3-1. Playing him to pull slightly. Here's the 3-1 from Lee. Swung on and kind of a check, excuse me, swing that got a piece of the bat and fouled into the screen. So it's 3-2. That one might have hurt a little bit too, right? Kind of off the fist. Nice crowd on hand here, even though there's opening ceremonies for all the youth leagues tonight. And Purvis, Sumrall, and Oak Grove, all of them having opening ceremonies tonight. 3-2 pitch. Swung on, shot right back up the middle. That's a base hit. Boy, that's where a pitcher is most vulnerable, when he's in his follow-through. And I've seen some wicked injuries take place over the years where a pitcher is just exposed right there, and Jackson slapped it up the middle. So here's Hunter Barrett now coming into the inning. He had one of the two Sumrall hits with a one-out double in the first, showing bunt and throwing over to first base. Mason Kendrick on the prowl at third, but I don't know if Sumrall will bunt or not here, because Dennis Jackson has so much speed. I would think that they would want him to steal second and then maybe bunt him to third. But we'll see how Larry Knight plays it. Barrett showing bunt and bunts right back to the pitcher. Should be routine. It is over to first, so the sacrifice bunt works, and Dennis Jackson is advanced to second. So one away, and here comes Robbins now, who struck out swinging his first at bat. Kelly Sander and producer engineer Jeremy Thompson with you on a Friday night.
Number 10, right fielder, Garrett Robbins.
So here's Robbins. Lead from the stretch with Dennis at second. First pitch is high and away, ball one. Robbins tweaked a hamstring in the Mid-Mississippi Classic, and the thought was they wanted to make sure he got ready for district play. 1-0 pitch is in there at the belt buckle, 1-1. Robbins hitting third in the order. Big-time Billy Garrity on deck. Sumrall trailing Purvis 1-0 as the Bobcats bat here in the top of the third. Sumrall just has not been able to figure out Purvis pitching or defense. Jackson on the move to third. Now they've got him in a rundown. Throw to second, and Jackson is out. Nice play by the Tornadoes. And what makes that work is as soon as he breaks, the Purvis infield yells at their pitcher to break contact with the rubber, and he knows exactly what's going on then. And then everybody takes their positions for the rundown, and Purvis has executed one, and Sumrall has executed one here tonight. 1-1 pitch. Missed, 2-1. So bases empty and 2 outs now for the Rawl Cats. Robbins with the bat bouncing off the shoulder. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one is lifted way high. Jesse Johnson tracking it at shortstop, moving over behind the bag at second, puts it in his back pocket, and that's that. So as it turns out, no runs on a hit, and Sumrall does not strand anybody because of the put out. So after 2.5 innings, Purvis comes to bat in the bottom of the third inning, leading Sumrall 1-0. It'll be McQueen, Lott, and Howell coming up for Purvis. It's tax season, and if you're looking for professionals that you can trust, why not Martin's E-Tax in Sumrall, locally owned and operated by Michael and Jenny Martin. They offer fast, efficient, and friendly service. Martin's E-Tax can also help you in non-tax season all year round with payroll and other things that you might need help with. Visit Martin's E-Tax at 4879 Highway 589 in Sumrall, across from Sumrall Town Hall. That's Martin's E-Tax. And I didn't realize that dog food was tax deductible. Dog food. Actually, I don't think it is, but but I'm deducting it. I'm deducting it anyway. Throw down to second base, and Purvis gets to work. Second baseman Colin McQueen, the first man to the plate. Purvis in their Sunday whites tonight, trimmed in purple and gold.
Bottom of the third for the Tornadoes. Number 12, second baseman Colin McQueen.
The one color that all three of the Lamar County public schools have in common. Sumrall blue and gold, Purvis purple and gold, Oak Grove black and gold. So righty versus righty, the matchup here in the bottom of the third inning. McQueen's first look at Hunter Barrett tonight is a swing and a miss strike. The Greene County Wildcats and Poplarville Hornets still to be seen by Sumrall, the Forest County Aggies as well. They've already completed the series with the Lawrence County Cougars. 0-1 pitch. Missed high and inside, 2-0. See some of the fans now digging out the gloves and the blankets. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, and there's a shot to left center field. That ball is down. Dennis Jackson quickly over to his right to cut it off, and the Tornadoes have a leadoff man aboard here in the third. And really, that ball was hit so crisply. Had Jackson not read it that well off the bat, that could have gotten to the fence. And here's Nate Lott now, the center fielder for Purvis. This is a bunt situation. Garrity knows it, so he's at the elbow at third, anticipating that the bunt will be coming from Lott. With Purvis leading 1-0, they want to try to extend the lead here. And the last thing you want to do as a team when you're batting is waste a leadoff hit. So we'll see how they play it here. Shows bunt and puts the bunt down. It's a beautiful one. Crawford to first, and the ball is thrown high. He'll move on to second. That ball will go all the way to the fence. Coming in to score will be McQueen, and Lott winds up at third. E2 on the throw. So no RBI is given to Lott because of the error. Larry Knight calls timeout to try to settle down his troops because the Tornadoes not only have scored a run here, but they've placed a man at third with nobody out. In the top of the order, Ty Howell coming up. That ball, it appeared from where I'm sitting here that Crawford took more of a direct line to throw the first base, and because of that, for fear of hitting Lott in the head with the throw, he had to throw it just a little bit higher. But because of that, it sailed on him and got into the right field corner. By the time Robbins caught up with it, McQueen had scored, and Lott had traveled all the way over to third. So here's Howell, who popped to the first baseman his first time up, and the Sumrall infield again gets pulled in. Each team with 3 hits, but Purvis has converted 2 runs. Breaking ball missed away. So the gifted Ty Howell, he's a senior for this Purvis team. Posted his senior pictures online. Boy, the talented photographer who took his senior pictures. Unbelievable. A unique eye. The 1-0 pitch is high. Van Tyner Photography for all of your photographic needs. We'll make sure we type out the invoice. 2-0 the count. To Ty Howell here, and now Howell wants time. Again, the Sumrall infield pulled in. You can see him at the edge of the grass. Howell trying to plate the third run of the night. Swung on, and that one is off of his foot. He'll have to walk that one off. Count goes 2-1. And the way that Sumrall has been stymied by Purvis pitching, they certainly don't want to give up any more runs. In fact, in the series, still Sumrall has yet to score. Howell still walking this one off.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Wind still blowing in toward home plate, although not as fiercely as it was earlier in the evening. And the Purvis dugout fired up here. Ty Howell, the leadoff man. This is his second at bat of the night. 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball. This one is lifted to center. Jackson is tracking it. He's able to make the catch, but tagging at third. And coming in to score is Lott, and it's 3-0 Purvis. Sac fly RBI for Howell.
1 run scored for the Tornadoes.
Base is empty, 1 out. And here's Mason Kendrick. So Purvis plated 1 in the second, 2 more here in the third.
Number 2, third baseman, Mason Kendrick. 1 out.
Boy, some really unusual ink in the scorebook tonight. First pitch. This one is a line shot right at Jackson, and he puts that one away. I mean, a line drive rope
Number 2,
to center. 2 away, and Jesse Johnson will get another attempt. But when you look at the scorebook for Purvis, 2 triples and an error.
number 15, shortstop, Jesse Johnson.
They're playing Johnson to pull here. As Barrett looks in to get the sign. Breaking ball, and a beauty drops in there for a strike. You see Tanner Morgan, the shortstop for Sumrall, almost right behind the second base bag as Johnson takes strike 2. As Purvis bats here in the bottom of the third inning, now leading 3-0. The 0-2 effort off the plate. 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Should Johnson reach, then Trenton Flatt would come to bat. Just got a piece of that one. Man, he took a mighty lash at it, and I think right the end of the bat just kind of cue-balled it off the end. Billy Garrity surveys the damage on the baseball, as will Bernard Shows. So here's Johnson, who was slinging the ball at close to 90 miles an hour on Tuesday night. Over at Sumrall.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good-looking athlete. And he's hitting third in the order tonight for Tony Farlow. Base is empty. 2 outs here for Purvis in the bottom of the third. Breaking ball just missed. 2-2 the count now. Sumrall on the road at Old Brook tomorrow, and then they keep the road trip going over to Leakesville on Tuesday to take on the Greene County Wildcats. That pitch is inside, nearly hit him.
Full count on the batter.
And boy, did you see Jesse Johnson kind of give him a look there. The count goes full at 3-2. Morgan right behind the bag at second base. He's the shortstop for Sumrall. The 3-2 payoff pitch. Low, ball 4.
Johnson takes the base on ball.
So he's on board. And here's Flatt, who popped up to Story in foul territory his first time up. Each team with 3 runs.
Runner at first base, 2 outs.
That's 3 hits, rather. Excuse me, 3 hits.
Batter's number
2 of them for Purvis are triples.
Flat.
Flatt 0 for 1 so far tonight. Playing him to go the opposite way as that wind now is blowing more toward right field. First pitch, breaker away, ball 1. We mentioned the Major League Baseball season begins a week from tonight. Throw over to first base, and being caught off the bag is Johnson on the quick tag. Nice call by the Bobcats, and Johnson goes down. So Flatt will start with a fresh count when he goes to bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. But the Tornadoes come up with 2 runs. On one hit, there was an error, and as it turns out, nobody left on base. So at the end of 3, here at Leslie Wilson Field, oh no, it's not Leslie Wilson Field. The Tornadoes lead the Bobcats 3-0. Coming up for Sumrall, 4, 5, and 6 in the order. It'll be Garrity, Story, and Crawford. Covington Ridge Retirement Home in Collins is a quiet, cozy place just like home where they honor their seniors with dignified care. Each private suite is spacious, about 500 square feet, with brand new granite countertops and an outdoor patio. Lots of activities, entertainment, and they have availability now. CovingtonRidgeRetirement.com. That's CovingtonRidgeRetirement.com. So back to work is Dakota Lee. And Garrity will lead it off for Sumrall. Billy got a walk his first time up. Sumrall batting in the top of the 4th inning, as this game is just now 1 hour old.
Top of the 4th for Sumrall, number 31, third baseman, Billy Garrity.
Billy's older sister, Lindsay, had some news not long ago. She's engaged to be married. Congratulations to them. First pitch to Billy is a breaking ball strike. Garrity, a power hitter. Of course, Sumrall has put several pitchers in the pipeline at Southern Miss, but not guys that can hit like Garrity. As Garrity committed to Southern Miss earlier in the week, that pitch is low, 1-1. Leading it off here in the 4th, they play him to pull. Breaking ball, strike on the outside corner, 1-2 now. Dakota Lee has been real crafty, moving in and out, up and down, changing his speeds. 1-2 pitch here to Garrity. Swung on and fouled into the screen. He has struck out 4 Bobcats on the night, 2 in the first and 2 in the second inning. And he's ahead of Garrity here, 1-2. The Purvis Tornadoes, years ago, the Lamar County Agricultural High School Aggies. The 1-2 pitch from the full windup. Swing and a miss. Garrity down on strikes, 1 away here in the 4th. And that is the 5th strikeout of the night by Dakota Lee. And here comes Mason Story, who was one of those strikeout victims in his first at bat.
Batting number 6, first baseman, Mason Story.
Story, the big first baseman for Sumrall, again with that bat bobbing off the shoulder. First pitch, and he's swinging and pokes that one foul to the right side. Lott in center field, shading him just slightly to the third base side. Dakota Lee, the crafty right-hander, comes again. Swung on. This one is lifted to center and well hit. Late back on the right at the warning track to put it away.
Lott makes a catch for out number 2.
So Story is out. Base is empty, 2 away, and here comes Graham Crawford, who popped to Kendrick his first time up. Graham Crawford, the rugged first baseman for Sumrall. Crawford has caught nearly every inning of the season so far this year. Billy Garrity caught a couple of innings back, I think, during the Mid-Mississippi Classic. But other than that, Graham Crawford has been the go-to guy behind the plate. First pitch, breaking ball missed high. 1-0 as Sumrall bats with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the 4th. Purvis will have 4, 5, and 6 up in its order in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 pitch. That's low, 2-0. Both pitching staffs have plenty of arms to go to should they be needed. Talked about, there was some speculation that Casey Burge would get the start for Purvis tonight, but Dakota Lee out there, 2-0 pitch, and he's been brilliant as that one's in there for a strike. Should Crawford reach, then Zane Berry, who has a single on the night, he'd come back up again. Sumrall trying to get the goose eggs off the board. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Bender missed away, 3-1 now. Didn't miss by much. And the 3-1. Ball 4. Crawford milks a 2-out walk. That is just the second walk of the night, surrendered by Dakota Lee. Sully Clark will come in to run. Garrity was the recipient of the other walk back in the first inning. So Sully Clark running at first for Zane Berry. Or with Zane Berry coming to the plate, rather. Clark running for Crawford. First pitch is a strike. It splits the plate. Working the inner half of the plate with Zane Berry up. Zane hitting 7th in the order tonight. From the set position, there's another one. This time comes to the outer half of the plate. That's where Dakota Lee has been so effective. You don't necessarily have to throw it 95 miles an hour if you can move it around, move it up and down, but always be in the strike zone. Terrific control. So 0-2, Berry in the hole here. The 0-2 pitch. Low, and Scharf is able to keep that one in front of him. 1-2 now. Sumrall has a runner aboard with 2 away here in the 4th. Purvis won the JV game earlier. 1-2 pitch. Away, throw to second base. Clark on the move, and he is a dead duck at second. So Zane Berry will start the inning again with a fresh count, but he'll have to wait to the 5th inning to do it. No runs, no hits. There was a walk and nobody left on base. So we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Flat, Burge, and Lee will come to the plate to face Hunter Barrett. Columbia Medical Supplies, the place to remember for medical supplies and equipment, hospital beds, power wheelchairs, scooters, mobility equipment, or accessories are available lots of times for in-store pickup, or you can get them delivered. Columbia Medical Supply specializes in equipment for sleep apnea with a respiratory therapist on staff, and most insurance is accepted. Columbia Medical Supply, 803 Highway 98 bypass in Columbia. Call 736-0843. Each team with 3 hits, but Purvis has got the 3 in the run column, and that's the one that counts. Larry Knight talking to Bernard Shows, now down the third baseline. And Shows is actually escorting Knight to the mound, so I'm not sure what this might be about. Maybe wanting to talk to his pitcher without it counting as a visit. And Knight now may be signaling for a pitching change here. Maybe Barrett indicated something to him as he went out that he might not be 100%, and it appears that there will be a change and Grant Reddy will be called upon. So Grant Reddy is the new pitcher for Sumrall. Now Barrett, under normal circumstances, would come back in to play third, and Garrity would move to the outfield. But Barrett may be done for the night, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. But big Grant Reddy, the senior, and the punter on the football team. We knew that he and Cody Davis would be the go-to guys. Should Barrett need to come out for any reason. And Reddy is fresh. He has not thrown in a couple games. Big, thickly built right-hander, and one of the few seniors on this team. If I'm not mistaken, one of only 4 seniors on the Sumrall team. So Larry Knight actually getting a bird's eye view. So Reddy can come sidearm, so can Cody Davis. Cody Davis, one of those seniors as well. So now here in the fourth, it's Grant Reddy on in relief of Barrett. So Barrett cannot win the game. At this point, Reddy is the pitcher that could win it. Oak Grove ahead of George County 2-0. That's in the first inning. Oak Grove was beaten by George County the other night 2-1. So here's Flat, and he takes ball 1 from Reddy. That's the only defensive change for Sumrall, was Reddy is in for Barrett. So Garrity stays at third. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on, and this one is chopped to Garrity at third. Short hops, throws over to first, and it's off the mark. So we'll have to see if it's ruled a hit, because it was, I don't know if they'd have gotten him anyway. Or a throwing error on Garrity. E5? That's the ruling, E5. So the second error of the night for Sumrall. Problematic in that Purvis has a leadoff man aboard now with no outs, and here's Casey Burge, who all he did was triple his last time up. First pitch floater outside, ball 1. Garrity actually did a good job by fielding the ball on the short hop, but then hurried his throw just a little bit, and it was errant. Thus the E on the board. So the second miscue for Sumrall. Throw back over to first. Casey Burge, the DH, hitting in the 5 spot here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The 1-0 breaker again. Throw to second base. Yeah! And they call him safe, but he went around the throw. I don't know if it would be ruled that he was out of the baseline to avoid the tag or not. He was not tagged. And here comes Larry Knight to argue just that. You are given a little bit of latitude when you're going to go to a new base, but when you get too far out of the baseline to avoid a tag, you're automatically ruled out. And that's what Larry Knight will discuss with the base umpire. But it was a great dance job by Trenton Flat to get around the tag, and Larry Knight is arguing that had Flat stayed in the baseline, he would have been tagged out. And you can see by the motioning that Larry Knight is saying, he said he went way around and then came into the back door. And now they're going to discuss it. And I have to say, for not having a dog in this hunt, it's a valid discussion, because, like I said, the Sumrall defender was there to lay the tag down, and Flat actually went so far around that he had to come back to second base to touch it after he went past it. So the only way he would have had to come back after passing it is being so far out of the baseline that he had to do that, was forced to do that. At which case he would not need to be tagged. He would be automatically out. So we'll see how they rule it, but for now, Flat is at second base with no outs. Knight continues to plead his case. Runner heading back to. It does not appear that they're going to change this call.
I just got 1-0.
So Knight back to the dugout. A break for Purvis.
2-0.
And 2-0 the hitter Burge. Now you could argue that Burge might be in bunt mode here to get a runner over to third with one out, but Burge hits fifth in the order, so you know he hits for power. 2-0 pitch. Tries to put the bunt down, and it's fouled at the plate. 2-1. So interesting strategy going on here that Tony Farlow has his number 5 man in the order, putting the bunt down. And really, when you look back at Tuesday night's game, it was Purvis's ability to put the bunt down in key situations late in the game that aided the Purvis win. So 2-1 the count. Dakota Lee is on deck. Sumrall trailing Purvis 3-0. The Bobcats playing defense here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Tornadoes lead 3-0. And looking for more. Grant Reddy on in relief of Hunter Barrett. 2-1 pitch. A bunt again, and a beautiful bunt right back. Crawford will field it on to first base for the out, but the sacrifice bunt works. Flat advances to third. So Purvis playing a little small ball here, but they've got the 4th run anchored at third base with one out, and here comes Dakota Lee.
Runner at third base, 1 out. Batter's number 25, the pitcher, Dakota Lee.
Dakota Lee had a triple and an RBI his first at bat. Purvis put 1 across in the 2nd, 2 more in the 3rd, and the Tornadoes are threatening again here in the 4th. 3-0 Purvis. There's a called strike. Infield in for Sumrall to try to cut down the 4th run at the plate. Wind blowing toward right field. There's a breaking ball, a shot down the line, and it is foul. Whoa, that was close. And it would have been disastrous for Sumrall. But credit the umpiring crew, it was immediately called foul. And lots of times, right or wrong, if they make a call quickly like that, people tend to be less aggressive. It's when umpires hesitate that people smell blood in the water and fans get on the umpires. So the infield's still in, and the count is 0-2 to Dakota Lee. Pitch is outside, thinking that the squeeze might be on again. If Sumrall can notch the 2nd out, you'll see the Bobcat infield go back to regular depth. But it's a gamble pulling the infield in. 1-2 pitch. Check swing, he held it up on it. It was inside 2-2. Because with an infield pulled in, you can maybe get away with something that isn't even that crisply hit. It can just find its way through the infield. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on, a little flare. No problem for Tanner Morgan, who would have made the play either way. So, pop out to the shortstop for out number 2, and now you'll see the Sumrall defense go back to regular depth. And here is Scharf. It'll be Scharf's job to try to get flat across with 2 away, and he flew out to Robbins his last time up. Sumrall batting, or check that, Purvis batting in the bottom of the 4th. I can hear that wind coming through the windows here. The windscreen's on our microphone. First pitch is outside. Great job by Crawford to keep it in front of him, because Flat was racing off of that bag at third. All sorts of room in left center field as Dennis Jackson now works his way back more toward center. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on, and this is chopped foul wide of third. District 7 4A action. Both teams 2-1 in league play. So is Poplarville, and so is Greene County. So where Forest County beat Lawrence County the other night. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball away, 2-1. Colin McQueen is on deck, should he be needed here in this inning. The Tornadoes with just 2 losses on the year. Sumrall with just 3. 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1.
3 balls, 1 strike.
Oh, Grant Reddy's a big old kid out there on the mound.
It's been on every game he's played. I don't know what it is.
The 3-1 pitch. That one drops in there. 3-2 now the count. The payoff pitch. Swung on. There's a shot right to short. Tanner Morgan tries to come up with it, then comes up late and is pulled off the bag. And that'll be an E6. Bobcats are our own worst enemies here. So no RBI for Scharf because an error was ruled. And here's Colin McQueen now, who has singled and scored. It's 4-0 Purvis.
12, second baseman, Colin McQueen.
Purvis batting in the 4th now. The only inning that the Tornadoes have not scored a run was in the 1st. That pitch is high. And Crawford wants some fresh leather. Reddy didn't like that one. I've said many times about how particular pitchers are about the baseballs. They get some pitchers like the laces that are raised a little bit. Some pitchers like the laces to be kind of flush with the leather. And they know instantaneously when they get a ball if it's one that they want to work with. Throw over to first. 4 runs, 3 hits for Purvis. No runs, 3 hits, but 3 costly errors for Sumrall. Swung on, a little flare over here to the Purvis dugout. It actually gets into the dugout. Nate Lott on deck. Lott put down a bunt his first time and wound up at third base. When Crawford tried to throw him out, it sailed over the bag at first and into the right field corner that Robbins had to go retrieve it. Not one of those plays like in Buddy Ball where they hit it out there 3 feet in front of the plate and wind up scoring a home run. Get all the way around. The 1-1 pitch. Got a piece of that one and put it into the screen. 1-2 now to Colin McQueen. Looking ahead to the Sumrall 5th, it'll be hitters 7, 8, and 9. Zane Berry, who was actually up to bat in the top of the 4th. when a runner was thrown out, so Barry will start with a fresh count. But the Bobcats have got to get the Tornadoes down here in the fourth. A ball and 2 strikes to Colin McQueen. Breaking ball outside, 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Tornadoes looking to move ahead of Sumrall in the district standings. The 2-2. Swung on. Here's a slow roller to second. This should do it. Flips to second. Tanner Morgan covering the bag. So check that, 1 run on no hits. There was an error and 1 man left on base. So we've completed 4 here at Purvis. It is the Tornadoes 4 and the Bobcats nothing. You can support your high school and give the hometown an advantage when you dine at Buffalo Wild Wings in Hattiesburg. On the day of the game, come into Buffalo Wild Wings and they'll give 10% of the cost of the meal back to your school. The menu is loaded with go-to crowd pleasers and fast break lunch specials daily so you can feed your family and support your team in a fun family atmosphere. Buffalo Wild Wings just off of I-59 and Hardy Street in Hattiesburg. Buffalo Wild Wings proud to support Sumrall Bobcat Baseball. So here's Zane Berry, officially 1 for 1 tonight. And he will face Dakota Lee. Steve Cooley taking his spot over in the first base coach's box. And Zane Berry ready to get to work here in the top of the 5th. First pitch from Dakota Lee is low, ball 1. So now Reddy has been deployed here for Sumrall, and you would still think that Cody Davis could go if he needed to. Purvis, all kinds of options on the pitcher's mound. But so far, Dakota Lee has been invincible. 2-0 the count to Berry. Cross Sibley is on deck, but both he and Tanner Morgan were strikeout victims in their only other at-bats in the 2nd inning. The 2-0 pitch. Off the plate, 3-0 now. Berry again had been hitting in the leadoff spot. Takes a strike at the belt buckle. And of course the strike zone opens up a little bit on 3-0. But that was a legit strike. 3-1. And swinging in. Fouled it to the screen over here to our right. So the count fills at 3-2. Looks like a lefty beginning to warm in the Purvis bullpen down there. Here's the 3-2 payoff pitch. Got another piece of it. But he's got a sweatshirt on, so it's hard to get a number down there in that bullpen beyond right field. Zane Berry leading off for Sumrall here in the 5th. Bobcats trailing the Tornadoes 4-0. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, and Zane Berry races down to first base. I didn't want to say anything because Bernard Shaw's on that called 3rd strike is a little bit late coming up with the hand. And I didn't want to miscall it. So here's Sibley now. Sibley hitting 8th in the order, but Sumrall trailing by 4. So you wouldn't think a bunt or anything like that Sumrall would want to sacrifice the out for the base. If you're down by 1 run, it's one thing, but when you're down by 4, you got to get some runs. First pitch swinging, and there's a shot into right field, base hit. So the Bobcats moving station to station now. Runners on first and second. Sibley showing why he leads the team in batting average with a hit right there. And here's Tanner Morgan. Now the situation might change in that you could bunt them over and then have two runners in scoring position. Or let Morgan hit away. We'll see what Larry Knight decides to do here.
Shortstop, Tanner Morgan.
We mentioned Morgan struck out looking back in the second. So Sumrall making some noise here in the top of the fifth inning, trailing 4-0. Morgan shows bunt. And wisely, Dakota Lee steps back off of the pitching rubber. Lots of times pitchers will either back off the rubber or throw to a base just to see if they can get an indication from the hitter as to what they're going to do. Again, he shows bunt. Breaking ball is high, ball one. It could be a complete decoy or he could really be trying to bunt. So we'll see. Again, a lefty for Purvis warming. Sumrall trying to get on the board here in the fifth. Morgan again shows bunt. Puts the bunt down right out in front of the plate. Only play is at first, so the sacrifice works. One away, but it does advance Barry to third and Sibley to second. And here comes Dennis Jackson. He has grounded to short and singled. He is 1 for 2. A single here would be big for Sumrall. Sibley can fly. Boy, I can't wait to see how Cross Sibley continues to develop. Swung on and a shot into left field. Base hit. Barry scores. Sibley will be told to pull the parachute at third. It's a sharp hit single to left field, and Sumrall is on the board. And an RBI for Jackson. And Tony Farlow out of the bullpen. As Sumrall has a couple of hits in the inning and the runners at the corner with one out. Hunter Barrett was the scheduled hitter, but Grant Reddy would have to hit in that spot. Well, we've got a pinch hitter here, Seth Mitchell. So Seth Mitchell will swing it here with runners at the corners. Four to 1, Purvis. Now with the runners at the corners, the thing you have to be careful about is a ground ball right to one of the Tornadoes, because that could serve up a double play and end the inning. So Sumrall out hitting Purvis 5-3. But Purvis outscoring Sumrall 4-1.
Runners first and third, one out. Batters number 3, Seth Mitchell.
So Dakota Lee facing Seth Mitchell. Mitchell into pinch hit. A good chance here for Mitchell in the chances he's had. Has barreled up a couple of them. Throw over to first base now, and Dennis Jackson back. Dennis Jackson obviously can fly. You're being recruited as a wide receiver at just about every SEC school. That tells you a little something about Jackson's ability to get around. First pitch. Oh, that one is right there. Down the middle for a called strike. Seth Mitchell now finds himself in the 2-hole with Garrett Robbins on deck and the meat of the Sumrall order coming to the plate, trailing 4-1. And again, wanting to keep the runners close. By making that move, too, he may be trying to get Dennis Jackson to show his hand a little bit. See if Jackson might try to steal. And the reason would be that would break up the double play, obviously. The 0-1 pitch, runner going. Fakes the throw, pump to third, and the runner back in time? Yes. So runners at second and third. So the double play now is off the table. 1-1 the count. To Seth Mitchell. Sumrall has put up a run here in the fifth. A base hit away from making this a 4-3 ball game. You will not throw Dennis Jackson out on a base hit, even if there's not 2 outs. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball too high. 2-1. And now Scharf wants to go out and have a chat. Sumrall threatening here in the fifth. Purvis has had the bullpen warming. But so far, Dakota Lee has done all the heavy lifting here. Purvis will give up the run for the out. The infield is at regular depth. The 2-1 pitch from Dakota Lee. Swung on. There's a shot into center field. That ball is down. It'll go all the way to the wall. Seth Mitchell has delivered a 2-out double, and it's a 4-3 ball game. How about that? Seth Mitchell with a pinch hit double. And it's 4-3. And that'll do it for Dakota Lee. So the pitching change for the Tornadoes. Mason Dillmore. Dilmore. But Seth Mitchell, what a story. Rarely called upon, but every time he is called upon, doesn't get a hit every time, but almost every time he barrels it up somewhere. And found the gapper there. And the center fielder Lott knew immediately it was going to get past him. It was that sharply hit. And from our vantage point, it rolled all the way to the wall. Dennis Jackson could have crawled in from second. So 2 runs are across on the play. And Mitchell at second, and there's still just 1 out. So Sumrall has come back, at least for the time being. And it looks like Dakota Lee will go to second. And Colin McQueen will come out of the ball game for Purvis. So Dillmore, the lefty. And he'll face Robbins, who's a righty. Then Garrity, a lefty. And then Story, a righty, if need be. 4-3 now. With 1 out here in the top of the fifth. Dillmore getting some encouragement from Jesse Johnson, the fine shortstop for Purvis. Big game here for both of these teams as they look to get the advantage on the other in the standings in District 7 4A. With 1 away, here's Robbins. Let's see what he's been up to. Robbins has struck out and popped to short. He's 0 for 2. Mitchell is not forced anywhere, so he doesn't have to run at second base. First pitch from Robbins is swung on and popped out to the right side. Anything hit to the right side, Mitchell would be moving. To the left side, he would usually wait until that throw goes to first and then take off if he's going to go at all. But he's already in scoring position with one out. Dillmore to the plate. That missed low, 1-1 to Robbins. Sumrall batting in the top of the fifth inning. Purvis 4, Sumrall 3. Sumrall has done it all here in the fifth. All of their runs. The 1-1. Breaking ball popped it up. Shallow outfield. It is Dakota Lee there to glove it. And 2 away. And that'll bring up Garrity, who was officially 0 for 1 with a walk. Garrity, the cleanup hitter. So now Mitchell will be moving on anything with 2 outs, and that, of course, would represent the tying run. First pitch, breaking ball, little floater out toward left. This ball is down. Mitchell flying around third. He slides into home with a tying run. Into second is Garrity, and we have a tie ball game. Barrett was actually running for Seth Mitchell. So Barrett scores the run for the record. And here's Mason Story now. So Garrity comes up with a 2-out double to tie this game. But the runner at second was the responsibility of Dakota Lee. So 4 runs across for Sumrall here in the fifth inning. First pitch, low, ball 1 to Story. So now Garrity will be on the move on any kind of hit with 2 outs. The inning led off with a walk by Zane Berry, then Sibley singled. Is the 1-0. Breaking ball off the plate, 2-0. Then Tanner Morgan sacrificed them over to second and third. So there was runners at second and third with 1 out. Dennis Jackson singled sharply to plate a run. And Seth Mitchell came in and hit a gapper to right center after Robbins popped out to second, then Garrity to left for a double. That's low. 3-0 now to Story. And Graham Crawford, the left-handed hitting catcher, on deck. Sumrall batting in the top of the fifth here in Purvis tonight. And all of a sudden there is life in the Sumrall fan base. That's a walk to Story. So here comes Crawford now, the 9th man to come to bat in the inning. Bobcats have been panning for gold all night and have hit nothing, and all of a sudden have found something of interest here. Runners on first and second, 2 away. Crawford hitting right-handed now against the lefty. Dillmore on in relief. The first pitch is low, ball 1. So the runners on base are Dillmore's responsibility. So now the starting pitchers, just like on Tuesday night, the starting pitchers are done and will not have a decision. Crawford has a 1-0 count, rather. Dillmore, the lefty, comes set. That's low again. 2-0, and Crawford has worked himself into a fastball count here at 2-0. Again, this is a dead red fastball count at 2-0. There it comes, but it's inside. 3-0. And Dillmore has struggled finding the plate. 7 in a row outside the strike zone. 3-0 pitch. That one's there. So 3-1 now the count to Crawford with Zane Berry on deck, who led off the inning with a walk. Sumrall with 4 big tallies here in the 5th. Dillmore peers in to get the sign. No room for error. The 3-1 pitch is way upstairs. Another walk, and the bases are full of Bobcats. And here comes Barry again. Sully Clark will run for Story at second. And Crawford, for the time being, is going to run for himself. Crawford, one of the few catchers around the league that will run for himself. He's just a terrific athlete. So Sully Clark will, number 28, is at second base to run. Larry Knight giving Zane Berry some advice now. And one of the things you can bet that Knight is saying is be patient. Dillmore has not been in the strike zone.
Bases loaded, 2 out.
And Casey Birds, the designated hitter, now begins to warm in the bullpen for Purvis.
Second baseman, Zane Berry.
So he might have him on the take until he gets a strike because there's no place to put him. The bases are loaded. The first pitch is off the plate, 1-0. And Berry was not offering. That might have been exactly what Larry Knight said to do. Wait until you get a called strike, then green light. The 1-0. Low, 2-0. So you could bet the mortgage that Berry will not swing here. Well, I say that, but if he gets one right down the tube, he might tear it up. Nope, he was on the take, and there's the strike, 2-1. All right. Now he'll get back to work. The 2-1. Swung on. This is a drive toward right field, but right there to make the catch in right is Trenton Flatt. So Barry barreled it up. But Sumrall has come up with 4 runs in the 5th inning. 4 runs. They did it on 4 hits. 3 men left on base. So we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. We are now tied. Purvis and Sumrall. Of course, you would have expected it after seeing the game the other night. And now Cody Davis is on to pitch for Sumrall. The senior right-handed side armor. Cody Davis getting to work as we tell you about Premier Orthopedics, serving patients of all ages throughout the Pine Belt, treating spinal conditions, tendon and ligament issues, dislocations, sprains, and bone breaks. Dr. Burns, a board-certified joint replacement surgeon, and Dr. Tommy Bayless, a renowned sports medicine specialist. And they share a common philosophy, spending time with the patient, identifying the problem, and offering the best treatment. Premier Orthopedics, call 296-2100. 296-2100. Other sponsors include Diversified Forestry, South Group Insurance, the largest independently owned insurance group, with locations in Hattiesburg, Columbia, Collins, and McGee, Dyket's Professional Drugs in Laurel, and MCS Insulation and Building Supply. Cody Davis, the senior right-hander, the third of 3 Sumrall pitchers. Hunter Barrett started the game, and when it looked like he was going to come out and begin the 4th inning, he came out and Coach Knight actually visited the mound. Something apparently was wrong. Hunter was taken out. And Grant Reddy came in to finish the inning. And now here's Cody Davis.
Bottom of the fifth for Purvis.
Tie ball game.
Nathan Lott.
So now the pitchers of record are Dillmore and Cody Davis. And here's Nate Lott. He reached on an error and scored in his only other at bat. Sumrall batting in the bottom of the fifth inning. When it looked like Purvis had the game on cruise control, we're back tied as Cody Davis delivers a fastball strike. The 0-1 pitch misses outside, 1-1. So we'll see how the Tornadoes respond in the home half of the fifth here. The Sumrall defense, swing and a miss, behind in the count now 1-2. Sumrall defense has not changed. You still got Garrity at third, Tanner Morgan at short, Zane Berry at second, and Mason Story at first. The 1-2. Called, strike three, got him on a fastball corner strike. First out of the inning, and here comes Ty Howell back to the top of the order. Howell has popped to the first baseman and has put a sacrifice fly to the outfield where he was credited with an RBI.
Five, left fielder Ty Howell.
Base is empty, one out for Purvis here in the bottom of the fifth. First pitch to Howell, inside, ball one. 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for Sumrall. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors for Purvis. Again, the home team in this series has really struggled the past 4 games. Although it looked like Sumrall was sailing on calm seas, but was able to weather the storm, but not after giving up 4 runs to Sumrall in the top of the inning. Swung on, here's a chopper to second. Berry gobbles it up onto first base for the out, 2 up and 2 down. And that'll bring up Mason Kendrick, who has grounded to the catcher and lined out to center field. The NCAA basketball tournament continuing tonight. Boy, to think that Kansas State and Illinois Chicago, that one of those 2 teams is going to make it to the Final Four. That's why they play the games, I guess, huh? First pitch, swing and a miss by Kendrick. Of course, you got to like Illinois Chicago's chances because of Sister Jean, the secret weapon. The 0-1 pitch. There's a pitch that's low. 1-1, Davis working quickly. Cody Davis said early in the year he just was having problems throwing strikes and couldn't find his stride, and then had a couple of great performances in the Adidas tournament. Swung on a little looper out to center field, but Dennis Jackson is there, read it beautifully off the bat. And the Tornadoes go quietly. 1-2-3, no runs, no hits, no errors in the fifth. So we've completed 5 here at Purvis, and we are tied at 4. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Another extra inning game between these teams. Movie Star Restaurant, a supporter of Sumrall Bobcat Baseball. Don't forget Movie Star fried chicken, vegetables. Actually, the best fried chicken in the area. Spoken from a true fried chicken connoisseur like myself. Macaroni and cheese, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, just to name a few. Don't forget that Movie Star also caters your events, whether it's showers, weddings, birthdays, and more. Choose from the favorites on the catering menu and leave the cooking to the pros. Movie Star Restaurant, Old Highway 11 in Hattiesburg. Imagine if you catered divorces. They wouldn't have enough time in the day to take care of everything. So we head to the top of the 6th. Cross Sibley, Tanner Morgan, and Dennis Jackson, the scheduled hitters for Sumrall. To face Mason Dillmore. Casey Burge continues to loosen in the Purvis bullpen down in right field. Seeing earlier, it'll be really fun to watch Cross Sibley develop. Sibley, when you look at his background, he actually, before he got playing competitive sports,
Number 25, left fielder, Ross Stigley.
he was a gymnast. Can do the backflips and all those sorts of things, and that just shows you how strong and athletic he is. There's a drive, swung on, out toward center field, and that ball is caught in center.
Catch for out number 1.
What a grab by Nate Lott. Diving to his right and robs Sibley of a two-bagger. What a play. What a play by Nate Lott there. And here's Tanner Morgan.
7, shortstop, Tanner Morgan.
I'm not sure that the Purvis fans even thought that he caught that ball. Morgan wants to try to bunt his way on, but takes a pitch off the plate, ball 1. You know, the argument as to which athletes pound for pound are the strongest, football players or, gymnasts have got to be right up there. There's a strike. 1-1. Base is empty, 1 out for Sumrall here in the top of the 6th. We're tied at 4. The 1-1 effort swung on and popped out of play to the right side. A ball and 2 strikes now to the Sumrall shortstop, Tanner Morgan. They go back to the top of the order, and Dennis Jackson, who has really come to life, he's 2 for 3 tonight with an RBI. The 1-2 pitch. Off the plate. 2-2. Lott has him shaded toward left just a bit. All kinds of room in right center field. The 2-2 pitch from Dillmore. Ooh, that one he lost outside. Count goes full now at 3-2. Sumrall will travel to Old Brook tomorrow to take on the Panthers of Brookhaven. Here's the 3-2. Swung on, popped up. Right side. Right field waiting for it. And underneath it, old Trenton Flat. Trenton Flat had a grape-flavored snow cone out there, didn't it? But it stayed in the glove, and that's what counts. 2 up and 2 down. And Sumrall goes back to the top of the order, and here's DJ. People who have been following Dennis's recruiting process have said that they believe that Ole Miss and LSU have the inside track to get him as a wide receiver. But you asked Dennis about it, and he said, well, we'll just have to wait and see. First pitch shows maybe a late bunt, but then pulls the bat back, 1-0. Base is empty, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. The Raw Cats and the Tornadoes deadlocked at 4. The 1-0 pitch. Another floater that misses outside. So Kentucky's been sidelined in the basketball tournament. So if we could just get Duke to lose, would be all right. Get those old-time teams out of there. Let some new blood get in there. 2-0 pitch. Swung on, and Jackson was waiting for the fastball, couldn't handle it, and knocks it out of play. 2-1. Dennis Jackson, just a junior. They play him to pull slightly. The 2-1 pitch. That one is a slow roller to first base. Jackson quick, but beating him to the bag is Justin Seal at first to make the play, and Sumrall goes quietly. 1-2-3. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Purvis will send the meat of the order, Johnson, Flat, and Burge, to the plate. And a run here would give them the lead where they'd only have to defend it for 3 outs. Sumrall at Brookhaven tomorrow, then Tuesday to Leakesville, which is a suburb of Sand Hill, I think, in Greene County, home of the Wildcats. Greene County was really kind of expected to be a team that was down this year a little bit in the district, but the Wildcats have shown some life, and in fact, going into play tonight, we're tied for the lead in the division with Purvis, Sumrall, and Poplarville. So you get a 2-game series with other teams in the 4A classification. The 6A teams play each other 3 times because there are fewer teams in the division. So Cody Davis on for his 2nd inning of work. You got a couple of senior performers here as Jesse Johnson will lead it off. He has flown to left and walked. So here's Johnson. I would expect if the Tornadoes can get a man on base that they would use the bunt and try to move him over. Righty versus lefty. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Side armors from the right side can be very effective. If they have one Achilles heel, it's that left-handed hitters have significantly higher averages because they're able to pick up that baseball a lot quicker than the righties from the left side. There's a strike on the inner part of the plate. 1-1. They're playing him to pull, so all kinds of room in left center as the wind continues to blow in toward home plate. Jesse Johnson hitting 3rd in the order for Tony Farlow. The 1-1 pitch swung on, and this one is out of play down the left field line. On a cool Friday night. Good luck to all the area youth teams that begin playing tomorrow. Looks like the weather's going to cooperate. Gosh, all the board members of the youth baseball leagues around have got to take a deep breath and thank the good Lord for the beautiful weather today and get ready for opening day tomorrow because rain can really cause problems, can it? The 1-2 pitch swung on again, lifted foul down the left field line. I've often wondered if cars traveling down Highway 11 here, just driving along, minding their business, and take a plunk right in the windshield as they go by. That could cause some problems. The 1-2 pitch coming to Jesse Johnson. Off the plate, 2-2. Well, not only would it cause problems with the car, but it would scare you to death. You know? That's all you need is to soil yourself driving down the highway, just expecting 2-2 pitch coming up to the Purvis leadoff hitter, fouled into the screen. Johnson alive with a 2-2 count. Johnson was the starting pitcher in Tuesday night's game and pitched brilliantly, but neither he nor Cross Sibley were credited with the win. Actually, tonight's starter for Purvis, Dakota Lee, got the win on Tuesday night. The 2-2 pitch. Foul tip. He stays alive, and we could hear the tink from back here. Is this the Leslie Wilson press box? Is this what this is? As long as it's not the Leslie Wilson Memorial press box, I guess. 2-2 pitch coming. Cody Lee pitching for Sumrall here in the bottom of the 6th. That's away, 3-2. Boy, Johnson and Davis have battled each other here. Johnson has spoiled some pitches. Davis has nibbled the corners, and now it comes time to pay the piper either way. A 3-2 count to the leadoff hitter for Purvis here in the 6th. Outside, ball 4. Okay, all sorts of things to talk about here now because you've got your cleanup hitter up, Trenton Flat. You don't get to bat cleanup unless you can hit it with power. But you're in a situation where a bunt would be strategically the call. So do you take the bat out of your cleanup hitter's hands? Or do you let him swing away and take the chance that he hits a sharp ground ball right to somebody? We'll see how Tony Farlow plays it. Throw over to first base. Garrity at third has picked up the scent of a bunt. So he thinks that the Tornadoes will try to bunt it here. Flat has popped to the first baseman. He's reached on an error and scored. He's not bunting. It's a slow chopper, though, to third. Garrity slips and falls, but is able to make the throw to second base. That was nearly absolute tragedy for Sumrall, but Garrity makes the play, and the runner is forced at second. So fielder's choice puts Flat to first base, so he was swinging. And here's Casey Burge, the designated hitter.
Great team, designated hitter, Casey Bird.
Now Garrity at the elbow at third. Burge has tripled and put down a sacrifice bunt. Throw again over to first. Purvis and Sumrall tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Swung on, and that one was jammed him a little bit. He fouled it off to the right side. Garrity in at the elbow at third. Sumrall looking to roll a double play here. Burge hitting 5th in the order. Throw again over to first. Wanted to keep Trenton Flat close there. Flat can flat out fly, for those of you into alliteration. So 0-1, the count to Burge. Davis ready to get to work. Swing and a miss. He's ahead now, 0-2 in the count. Looking ahead to the Sumrall 7th. Hitters 2, 3, and 4, which were Barrett, Robbins, and Garrity. Robbins and Garrity will swing it. I'm not sure who will hit that 2-hole. The 0-2 pitch. Inside, 1-2. Dakota Lee is on deck for Purvis as the Tornadoes bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So they let called strike 3. Burge goes down for out number 2. And it'll be up to Dakota Lee, who has tripled with an RBI, and he has popped to the shortstop. So Trenton Flat will be moving on contact.
25.
Lee hitting 6th in the order and facing the senior right-hander Cody Davis. Davis from the set position and a throw over to first base. So if you didn't hear the news earlier today, the Tornadoes will have a new football coach this fall, Perry Wheat. Has announced his retirement. Said he'd been thinking about it the last couple of weeks. First pitch is low, ball 1. Coach Wheat, I think, is going to be 70 in the spring, a little bit later. Of course, you look at some members of Congress who should have retired 40 years ago. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and is that a foul ball or a strike and a miss? It is a foul ball. Nancy Pelosi of California. She's 78 years old. People don't realize that. 78. Of course, our own Thad Cochran here in Mississippi, retiring after 147 years at the Senate. here on April 1st. No, he really is. Hard to believe, huh? A ball and a strike to Dakota Lee with a runner at first. And 2 outs here in the 6th. Swung on and popped out of play. Count goes 1-2. So Cody Lee very calm, very collected here. This was the year that he had looked forward to, that the spotlight would be on him as mostly a reliever, but did start one of the games in the tournament. Throw again over to first base. Wind blowing in toward home. Deadlocked at 4. Sumrall got all of its runs in the 5th. Pitch is too high. Throw to second base is a sky ball, but gets over Tanner Morgan, but Dennis Jackson alertly on the backup. He is there, so Trenton Flatt stays at second base, but he's in scoring position now with 2 away and a 2-2 count. So a base hit could potentially plate the lead run for Purvis. Big pitch coming up. Dakota Lee, who already has an RBI with a triple tonight. And now wants time at the plate, and Bernard Childs gives it to him, the home plate umpire. District 7 4A, 4 teams tied for first place going into tonight, and I think probably going all the way to the end of the year, that's what's going to happen. It'll be close. 2-2 pitch. Outside, 3-2. Parker Scharf is the scheduled next hitter, and he is in the on-deck circle. Bottom of the 6th. Purvis got 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 1 more in the 4th. And we mentioned Sumrall got all of its runs in the 5th. Inside, ball 4. So runners on first and second with 2 outs. The second walk issued in the inning. And here's Parker Scharf, who has been pretty quiet tonight. He has flown to right field and reached on an error. So with 2 outs, the runners will be moving, of course. Righty versus righty here. Dennis Jackson playing him to go the opposite way. Now moves a little bit and plays him straight up at second base. Garrity even with the bag at third. The first pitch swung on, and he was looking for the fastball and got it and popped it into the screen. Purvis looking for the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 6th inning. District opponents. Sumrall finishing with Sumrall this week. Then it'll be Greene County next week. Forest County the week after that, and then finish up the regular season with Poplarville as there's a breaking ball strike. 0-2 now to the Purvis catcher hitting 7th in the order. 4-4 ball game. Flatt is at second. Dakota Lee is at first. But Davis ahead in the count. Here's a slow roller to second base. Should be easy for Barry, and it is. Scharf is out on the 4-3 putout. And Purvis makes some noise, but can't convert. No runs on no hits. 2 men left on base. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Is this game destined for extra frames like on Tuesday night? But you talked to everybody who had seen these teams, and they said heads or tails It's these two teams so closely aligned talent-wise as Mason Dillmore comes out for another inning of work, the lefty. And he will face hitters 2, 3, and 4. Trying to get a view as to who Sumrall will bring to the plate first. Hunter Barrett was the original two-hole hitter, but he was lifted earlier in the game. Not sure if he was feeling well or what the issue was, but he came out. And then Seth Mitchell came in and got a big hit. You know that Robbins and Garrity, will hit, which is where they're supposed to hit in those next. So Cody Davis will hit for himself here. The pitcher Davis getting to swing it.
Sumrall. 24, the pitcher, Cody Davis.
So lefty versus righty. Cody can help his own cause here because right now he and Dillmore are the pitchers of record. First pitch from Dillmore is a breaking ball, beautifully dropped in there for strike one. Top of the 7th inning. All kinds of room in right center. The 0-1 pitch is inside. Davis turned toward the inside. Again, 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Dillmore. The 1-1. That's there. 1 and 2, and Davis will have to use the stick in a 4-4 ball game. It would be huge if Purvis would get the sweep on Sumrall. That would be the tiebreaker if in case. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. And here's Robbins, but Robbins and Garrity both have home run power. Garrett Robbins, the right fielder. He has struck out, popped to short, and popped to second. First pitch, he had a hunch but held off. 1-0. Uncharacteristically, the wind kind of active. Usually this time of night, the wind tends to settle down. The 1-0. Swung on and popped out of play. Casey Burge continues to loosen in the Purvis bullpen beyond right field as these teams battling for a hard-earned victory, as is always the case with these two teams. 1-1 pitch, another one floats in there for strike two. So Dillmore ahead in the count. Lott in center is playing in pretty deep. Swing and a foul tip. And that one got umpire Bernard Shows, and I think he might have said a word with limited letters. And he'll have to walk that one off. Man, that hurts. On a cool night as well. And as heavily equipped as catchers are, it's still the one position that nobody wants to play, and I get it. Quickest way to the major leagues is as a catcher, you kids. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Missed away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Sumrall right fielder. Bases empty, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Sumrall and Purvis tied at 4. The 2-2 pitch. I'm not sure if it was low or out, but it was close either way. And the count fills to Robbins. Sumrall looking for a base runner. Here's the payoff pitch. Nope, that missed. Ball 4. Robbins is on. And here comes Big Time Billy. He has walked, struck out, and doubled. And when he doubled last inning, He had an RBI. Here's Garrity with that open stance. Lefty versus lefty here. This ought to be fun. First pitch from Dillmore, and Garrity about tried to air condition this place with a mighty lash at that one. 0-1. 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for Sumrall. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors for Purvis. The 0-1 to Garrity. Swung on, and this one is knocked foul just outside of first. Garrity leads the team in home runs with 4. So at any moment, he could launch one. And to be sure, you know Dillmore knows it. No balls, 2 strikes to Billy Garrity, the cleanup hitter for Sumrall here in the 7th. The 0-2. Swung on, a little flare out towards second. That ball is caught. No throw to first base. So Garrity out on the pop out to second, 2 away, and Mason Story. Mason, the never-ending story, comes to bat. He has struck out, flown to center, and walked. So he's officially 0 for 2.
First baseman, Mason Story, 2 out.
And really tough for Robbins, with the left-hander looking him right in the eye, to try to steal, and they throw back over to first base. And Robbins may still not be 100% with that tweaked hamstring earlier in the season. First pitch. Oh, that one's right there on the outer half of the plate. 0-1 to Story. Should he reach, then Graham Crawford would get another shot at the lefty Dillmore. Mason Dillmore. Again, Casey Burge is warm, and he's out there in the bullpen ready to go should he get the call. The 0-1 pitch swung on to second base. The flip to second on the shortstop covering, and Sumrall is done in the 7th. So 2 outs, and then the fielder's choice. Sumrall done after 7. No runs, no hits. And for Purvis, they will send hitters 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. And Cody Davis comes out for another inning's work as Casey Burge comes in from the bullpen to the dugout. So McQueen was the scheduled hitter, but Dillmore will hit in this spot. So it'll be Dillmore, Lott, and Howell to face Cody Davis in a game that reeks extra innings. Just like it did the other night, where it took extra innings for Purvis to win that ball game. 3-0 was the final. So here we go. Can the Tornadoes pull it out in the 7th? Or will we go extra frames to decide it again? Kelly Sander with Jeremy Thompson, our producer engineer. And here's Dillmore.
17, the pitcher, Mason Dillmore.
So Dillmore, a left-handed thrower and a right-handed hitter, just like Cross Sibley. You find very few major leaguers who are left-handed throwers and right-handed hitters. Ricky Henderson comes to mind. He was one. But there just aren't a lot of them. First pitch is fouled into the screen. A lot of guys the other way that throw right-handed but bat left-handed. But this is the more unique combination. Pitch actually hit him. A pitch that got away from Davis. And Dillmore gets hit by the pitch. So the leadoff man is on. And he will get a courtesy runner there. Gabe Bell, who I think his brother Seth used to play here, did he not? So Gabe Bell.
Runner at first base, no outs. Batter number 7, Hunter Robinson.
And here's Hunter Robinson hitting in Nate Lott's spot. So Garrity thinks for sure they're going to bunt him to second. And this is where Purvis was so proficient the other night at doing, putting the bunts down and forcing the Sumrall defense to make the plays. So a hit batsman puts Dillmore on, Bell in to run for him. Bell spelled B-E-A-L-L. And here's Robinson. And he puts the bunt down the first base line. It's a beautiful bunt. Throw to first is in time. Beautiful sacrifice bunt by Robinson. Moves Bell to second. So the winning run is at second for the Tornadoes. And here comes Ty Howell. With the pocket pulled out. Can the quarterback of the football team deliver here for Purvis in the bottom of the 7th inning? And now Crawford wants to go out as Coach Larry Knight makes his way to the pitcher's mound. No room for error here. And Cody is done, and Garrett Robbins will come in, the power thrower. So Larry Knight looking for some strikeouts in this situation. Brings in the hard-throwing Garrett Robbins. So Cody Davis is done, but the runner at second base is his responsibility. So this will move some people around here. Seth Powell may be utilized as an outfielder as Robbins comes in. Robbins, the Pearl River Community College commit, will play for Michael Avalon next year, and Pearl River's got it turned around with the improvements at their ballpark now. Dub Herring Field. And Garrett headed there next year. You can see just how hard Robbins throws. But he is going to Pearl River primarily as an outfielder. So Knight looking again for the punch-outs. And I would expect Robbins to come in and just throw hard heat and challenge the Tornadoes to hit it. Robbins, a real demon in the weight room. He works really, really hard. I almost have to tell him to go home. Yeah, I used to be a demon in the weight room too. I was in a bodybuilding contest and won most abs. Not best, mind you, man, but most. So Robbins will face hitters 1 and 2, Howell and Kendrick. We'll check the defensive lineup for Purvis here in a moment. So they know exactly what's going on here. Purvis has moved the winning run to second base on the bunt. The infield stays the same. Garrett Robbins on the mound. And Logan Powell, number 16, Logan Powell moves to right field. So Powell to right, Howell at the plate. He has popped to first base, has a sacrifice fly RBI, and has grounded to second. 4-4 ball game. Purvis batting in the bottom of the 7th, and now Howell wants timeout. Garrett Robbins, the flame-throwing right-hander for Sumrall. It's just an ember right now, but could be a full-fledged flame if Howell can get a hit. First pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's exactly what they did. Just challenged him with heat. Garrett Robbins, the oldest of 3 Robbins boys. So 2 more to come. Grant and Graham. His 0-1 pitch is outside. 1-1. Unlikely that a double play would occur unless it's a line drive, so Kendrick would probably come to bat regardless of what happens here. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2 the count to Purvis's leadoff hitter, Ty Howell, as Purvis tries to win it in regulation here in the 7th. Robbins gets the sign from Crawford. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So 2 away, and here comes Mason Kendrick. Kendrick has grounded to the catcher. He has lined out to center twice.
2, third baseman, Mason Kendrick. 2 out.
So the first game of this series went extra innings, and it appears that this one has a good chance of going to extra innings unless the Tornadoes can win it right here. First pitch from Robbins is low, ball 1. And as hard as Robbins is throwing, one of the things he does not want to do is throw any wild pitches or anything in the dirt that Crawford may not be able to come up with. Because then that puts the runner to third, and another one could potentially win it. That's high and inside, 2-0. Should Kendrick reach, then Jesse Johnson would come to the plate.
2 balls, no strikes.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Runner at second, 2 outs for Purvis. Garrett Robbins, the 4th pitcher of the night. Hunter Barrett started. He was relieved by Grant Reddy, then Cody Davis, and now Robbins. Trying to continue this string of the road team winning games in this series. As if you have to worry about Robbins throwing anything other than heat anyway. You have a definite fastball count now of 2-0. That's high and inside, 3-0 now to Kendrick.
3 balls, no strikes.
And really, even if Kendrick reaches, he doesn't mean anything because the winning run is at second. So we'll see how they play it here. Interesting note, Johnson, the next hitter, is a left-handed hitter. So Robbins would get to see his first man from the left side. 3-0 pitch is low, ball 4. So again, no disrespect, but his run wouldn't mean anything as soon as Bell were to cross the plate. That would be the game. So here's Johnson now. Robbins doesn't want to put himself in a situation where he would walk a man to third base. Runners will be moving on contact with 2 outs. Johnson has walked twice and has flown to left field, so he's officially just 0 for 1. And now time is called. Pressure situation here for everybody involved. Robbins looks into Crawford, comes set, the right-hander kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. They might have picked that one up in Baxterville had he made contact with it. Just pure power against power. Robbins against Johnson. Not a whole lot of guessing here. It's just I'm going to throw it, you hit it. The 0-1. Swung on, lifted out of play to the left side. So 0-2. What else did you have to do on Friday night anyway? So Robbins against Johnson. Johnson, the number 3 hitter. Should he be needed, then Trenton Flatt would come up. And I say should he be needed because it's certainly possible. That men could advance without the game being won here. That one's outside, 1-2. The runner at second is Bell. He was on for Dillmore, who got hit by a pitch. He was sacrificed to second. Howell struck out. And Kendrick walked. So it's up to Johnson, and again, Crawford wants to talk it over with Robbins, who has not pitched in a while. But, in fact, I think it was Hattiesburg. And the reason he hadn't pitched is because of the tweaked hamstring, but he came in and got the save against Hattiesburg on opening night. One and two the count to Jesse Johnson. If he even cocks the bat ready to go, the runners may take off. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball right down the middle. And down Johnson goes. So there you have it. Johnson down on strikes, 2 strikeouts in the inning. And we're going for the second straight game with these two teams, going to extra innings. Dillmore back on the mound for Purvis as he will face Crawford, Berry, and Sibley. Four runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for Sumrall. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Tornadoes. It really kind of has you scratching your head. Just 3 hits for the Tornadoes, but that's been the case. They got 2 in the second on the back-to-back triples, and then they had a single by McQueen in the third, and that's been it. 3 hits for the Tornadoes, but they've made the most of some walks and some sacrifice bunts and have scratched out some runs that way. So Dillmore will face hitters 6, 7, and 8. At last report, Oak Grove and George County were playing, and Oak Grove was winning that game 1-0. George County beat Oak Grove earlier in the week. Oak Grove in the region with George County,
For Sumrall,
Petal, and Meridian.
number 34, the catcher, Graham Crawford.
Crawford has popped out to the third baseman, and he has walked twice. Hitting right-handed against Dillmore, the left-handed thrower here. First pitch is high and away, ball one. Oak Grove leading George County 8-0 now. So it looks like the Grovers will win that one. 1-0 pitch from Dillmore to Crawford. That floats outside. 2-0. They're playing him to pull slightly. Zane Berry on deck, and then Cross Sibley after that. Sumrall trying to win it in extras. 2-0 pitch. This one is a high fly to center field. Should be routine. And the catch is made.
Flies out, route number 1.
To Nate Lott, who's back there in center field. So 1 up and 1 down. And that'll bring up Zane Berry. Sumrall batting in the top of the 8th. It took, 9 innings on Tuesday for a winner to be determined? We're in the 8th here tonight. First pitch to Berry is a strike at the belt buckle. Dillmore has standard fare usually for left-handed pitchers, more finesse. Working in and out, changing the speeds a little bit. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball just missed. You see very few really hard-throwing left-handers. I mean, Randy Johnson, the old big unit with the Seattle Mariners back a while ago, he was a rarity as far as that goes. 1-1 pitch. Of course, he was also 6'10". That doesn't hurt. That pitch is high, 2-1. Yes, he was the one with the infamous pigeon incident, where actually delivering a ball, pitching a baseball, hit a pigeon that was flying by, and feathers went everywhere. 2-2 as you saw the foul ball to Zane Berry. Base is empty, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Breaking ball missed high, 3-2. All kinds of room in right center field. 3-2, fouled out of play again. So Berry continues to ruin Dillmore pitches. Payoff pitch. Swung on, and this one is a fly ball to right field. Moving over to his right to make the grab is Trenton Flatt, and that's 2 up and 2 down. And if Sumrall's to continue here in the 8th, it'll be Cross Sibley's job to get on base. Sibley has struck out, singled, and scored, and flown to center, but it was the last time he flew to center that Lott really had to get on his horse, moving to his right, and Lott dove to make the catch. Best defensive play of the night. First pitch is low, ball 1. The lefty Dillmore and now Garrett Robbins are the pitchers of record. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on, grounder to second base. Slapped it. And a bad throw. And Sibley takes off towards second. There will be a throw at second, and Sibley will be rung up.
God, what are you doing? E4.
So an E4 on the play, which gives Sibley first base, but then if you could make an error on base running, Sibley was aggressive, though, didn't hesitate going to second base, but he was out by a good bit. So Sumrall, as it turns out, sends the minimum to the plate, and Robbins will come back out, and he will face Flatt, Burge, and Lee. In the 8th inning, another extra inning contest. From the 601 area code, somebody wants me to wave at them because they're seeing us on our Galaxy tablet. What am I? Am I supposed to wave here? I don't know. No. We're not turning the camera around. Robbins. This will be the longest he's worked, more than one inning, normally just coming on to close. A fierce competitor. Flatt has popped to first base. He's reached on an error and scored, and reached on a fielder's choice. So no room for errors. Oak Grove has shut out George County 12-0. That's the final score. So the Warriors avenged that earlier week loss.
Bottom of the 8th for Purvis. Number 3, right fielder, Trenton Flatt.
So here's Flatt. Against Robbins in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Trenton, the capital of what state, Jeremy? You should know that. The cap. Trenton Flat. New Jersey's state capital is Trenton. Flat, the cleanup hitter for Tony Farlow. Again, only 3 hits registered by Purvis tonight. Tanner Morgan close to the second base bag, swung on and a drive down the right field line, but that ball gets out of play. Logan Powell gave chase over there, thinking if he had a play, but that was hit a long way, and it's just a long, loud strike. 1-1. The count to Flat. Robbins from the full wind, and the bases empty here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. Sumrall folks thought that one was there, and I'm not sure where it missed. If I called outside, but Crawford blocking my view just a bit. 2-1 the count to Trenton Flat. Robbins again kicks and delivers. Swung on, and that's tapped foul at the plate. And I think he might have swung at ball 3. That ball looked a little up out of the zone. Extra innings again for Sumrall and Purvis. Game officially started about 6:36. And we're at 2 hours and 43 minutes right now. Look at Tanner Morgan right behind the second base bag. That's not the center fielder. That's the shortstop for Sumrall. Here's the 2-2. Too high. 3-2. So Robbins, a big pitch coming up because you don't want to put the first man for Purvis aboard without him earning it. Flat the righty, Robbins the righty. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Inside and high, ball 4. And that's what happens. So Flat is on, and he means everything to the Tornadoes. Because now you've got Burge, who struck out looking his last time up. But he's also put down a sacrifice bunt. He tripled and scored. So it's been feast or famine. And now Flat at first base with a right-handed pitcher will be able to take a few liberties at first base because the right-handed pitcher can't see him very. And there's a pitch that gets away to bounces to right back to Crawford off of the screen, but flat is at second base. They had shown bunt before. So you have an even money bet in Vegas that Purvis would put the bunt down here and move him to third with just one out. So anything hit to the right side would score him. A potential sacrifice fly could score him. Lots of more strategical chances for Purvis by having a runner at third and one out. Larry Knight now coming out with a discussion with Bernard Shows. And Sivley may be coming in, huh? The lefty, the freshman lefty, who was the starter in Tuesday night's game. So Sivley will be called upon here, it would appear. Or maybe he is going to first base. And Mason Story is maybe headed to left field. I don't know. Let's see here what Sivley is going to first base. Story going to third. Or is he going to left? Or Garrity going to left? No, Story will head to left field. So Sivley has come in to play first base. Interesting. I'll get after this next pitch, I'll tell you why I think that move was made. Only Larry Knight knows for sure, but here's what I think. Sivley, being a left-handed thrower, can field a potential bunt and potentially have a throw at third base without having to turn all the way around because he throws with his left hand. So they could potentially get the runner out at third if Sivley fields the ball. The bunt is shown, but the pitch is low, and now it's 2-0. Garrity was also charging. And again, Larry Knight would be the only one that could say for sure, but that's why I would say that move was made. But the attention to detail, remarkable. Again, Sivley could throw the ball and not have to turn his body all the way around, where Story, being right-handed, would have to do that. The 2-0 pitch tries to put the bunt down, and it's fouled away. And every time in this series that Purvis has bunted, where have the Tornadoes bunted? To first base. So you love the cat and mouse going on here. Casey Burge trying to get flat over to third. Runner at second base, no outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Robbins has been pretty much just rearing back and throwing the heat. The 2-1 pitch coming once he decides he's ready to get to work. So Story has been moved to left field. The 2-1. Strike two, a fastball on the inside part of the plate. So now if you're Tony Farlow, do you have Burge try to bunt again? It would seem to me now he's got to swing away. But we'll see how they play it. Nobody out for Purvis. This would be a big out for Sumrall as Burge backs off of the plate. Bottom of the 8th inning. Purvis trying to sweep this series. Robbins gets the sign from Crawford. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Runner goes to third, but it's an errant throw. Flat scores. And Purvis wins.
Final score, Purvis 5.
Oh, my. He was breaking for third on the play. The strikeout was recorded at the plate. And before Morgan could get to the bag, the throw was released by Crawford. It was beyond the glove of Morgan and sailed into left field. And with that, Trenton Flat comes racing home for the winning run. So for the second time this week, the Tornadoes have won in extra innings. A 3-0 win in 9 on Tuesday, a 5-4 win in 8 innings tonight.
Purvis and Oak Grove, 12-2.
And the Bobcats and Tornadoes, what a series. And the home team has actually won a game. Bobcats will be in Brookhaven tomorrow. And then we'll be in Leakesville on Tuesday night as the Bobcats take on the Greene County Wildcats in District 7 4A action. Next home game will be next Thursday, the day before Good Friday, and that'll be when the Greene County Wildcats come to town. For producer-engineer, I'm Jeremy Thompson. I'm not Jeremy Thompson. For producer-engineer Jeremy Thompson, I'm Kelly Sander. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching Sumrall Bobcat Baseball.